Seems there's another story, another reason to doubt members of this government. This one from The Times. I will link the article below. It seems Rachel Reeves has incorrectly listed publications on her Who's Who profile. So let's have a look at that. But first of all, you know the drill. If you're not subscribed, please do that. That helps my channel grow, and I'll really appreciate that. Let's take a look at this article, shall we? So this in The Times says, Rachel Reeves has wrongly claimed to have work published in one of the world's leading economics journals, raising more questions about exaggerations on her CV. Now, why is this an issue? Because if someone is running the economy, if someone is in charge of the economy in the UK, we should be able to trust that they are suitably qualified. We should, at the very least, be able to trust that everything that they say is accurate. So when I tell you that I am a contributing author to Thomson Reuters, I am. I have a profile there. I'll link that below. I've done 1 or 2 pieces with them. I've done a webinar with them. Not a great amount, you understand, but it was on innovation at the bar, and I helped to pioneer one of the first entities of the licensed body variety with the Bar Standards Board, and I did pieces on that for Thomson Reuters. I did interviews on that with Thomson Reuters. I'll link whatever I can find down below. So I can verify those. I can link you to those. So when we look at this, when it's misleading, that does give you quite a bit of concern, because, I mean, I am just but a humble barrister, but still you need to know that when I say I've done what I've done, you can trust that I've done what I've done. But Rachel Reeves is running the economy. She's in charge of the UK economy. So let's have a look at exactly what's going on here. In her Who's Who list, which obviously details what she's done and etc., says that it lists her as a contributor to the Journal of Political Economy, when in fact she's published a single article in a far less prestigious publication, the European Journal of Political Economy. The error has been compared to claiming to have studied at the University of Oxford instead of the less competitive Oxford Brookes University. So it's a little bit like someone saying, yeah, I went to Oxford for university, but actually it was Oxford Brookes and not Oxford, University of Oxford. No disrespect to Oxford Brookes, but it's very different. It's a little bit like whenever you visit Cambridge and you speak to people there, somebody might say, I'm a student here, meaning they're a school student or a student somewhere else, whatever, but not at the University of Cambridge. So again, no disrespect intended, but that can be a little bit misleading. The article goes on. The error is likely to prompt further questions about her experience, after she's repeatedly cited her career as an economist as a reason to trust her with public finances. It's emerged previously that she left the Bank of England 9 months earlier than claimed on the LinkedIn profile, and remember, she blamed that on her assistants. In total, she spent 5.5 years at the bank, despite having to claim to have worked there for the best part of a decade. Now, 5.5 years is not really the best part of a decade, but it's a mistake nonetheless that she's now blamed on her administrative team. And as I said, let me know in the comments, because I think there's a bit of mixed view on this one. I don't think many people would leave that, especially if you were going to be the Chancellor of the Exchequer. I don't think you'd leave your LinkedIn profile to administrators. I wouldn't want to make sure that I've done that myself, and at least make sure that it's accurate. In the publication section of a Who's Who entry, Reeves listed as a contributor for the Journal of Political Economy, which was established at the University of Chicago in 1892 and is one of the oldest and most recognized publications in the field. However, the journal has no record of any article by Reeves. Instead, she and a former bank colleague together published a paper in 2007 on financial markets' response to the Bank of England statements in the European Journal of Political Economy. This is a less well-established publication with a lower impact factor, by quite a degree. It's cited 2.3 times a year compared with 6.9 times a year for the Journal of Political Economy. Sir Richard Barnett, professor of the University of Ulster, said the two journals are chalk and cheese, and that any academic economist would know the difference. And again, this comes back to the point. You would know the difference. If you're in that field, you'd know the difference. It is what it is. One is world leading. It's where economists aspire to publish, and it's incredibly competitive to get published in the Journal of Political Economy. If you're seeking an academic post or professorship, where you've published matters as much as what you've published. And so, I mean, I've got various articles or contributed to various articles in various places. Sorry about the noise, by the way. We've got work going on. A lot of noise here. But I've contributed articles to various places, and I'm not precious where I publish. I've helped to contribute to various things, right from Thomson Reuters with my official collaborations with them, and The Sun, and also Big Issue. I helped contribute to an article for them. I am not precious about that. I will lend my time and my knowledge, my experience. The way I see this is knowledge and experience and everything else is all borrowed, and the way that I see these things is that we acquire this knowledge and we acquire this experience, and to some degree we are custodians of that knowledge and we should be passing that on. One of the reasons I created this channel and my other channel, Black Belt Secrets, where it started off with martial arts and I was imparting my martial arts experience and interest and everything else, having trained for over 30 years there. I'm now a Master 7th degree black belt. It's not just a play on words, but now that channel's taken on a whole new life with my personal opinions because people wanted them and I had somewhere that I needed to put them. So I put them on Black Belt Secrets. Do pop over and subscribe to Black Belt Secrets if you wish. I'm slightly more opinionated over there. And if you want to learn to create wealth and build wealth and businesses, etc., then check out my other channel, Daniel Smith, linked below as well. So back on point. So I think this is really bizarre. This gives me real cause for concern because if someone is now in charge of running the UK economy, but they are a little bit sketchy about what they've done, where they've actually published articles, papers, etc., that really gives me pause for thought. That really gives me concern. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Personally, I think that is a cause for concern here. What else do we have for you? Well, Labour, despite saying that they are going to close down migrant hotels and get a control of immigration, etc., they are set to be used for 4 more years as they push back this deadline even further. The use of hotels will continue to go down, says the government, but with 10,000 asylum applications processed a month, they've pushed this deadline back. The Home Office Permanent Secretary now says that the overarching aim is to exit these hotels by the end of Parliament, which is due by the latest at August 2029. This statement obviously contrasts with the previously declared pre-election ambition to end the use of hotels for asylum seekers within 12 months of recruiting 1,000 caseworkers to tackle the backlogs. Now, this to me is yet another promise made, yet another promise broken. If you voted for Labour because you believed that they were going to stop the use of these hotels within 12 months, well, you'll be disappointed because that's not going to happen. Like many other things, like the council tax, like the winter fuel payments, like the WASPI claims, etc., all went through a whole load of turmoil, and the use of these hotels is not coming to an end within 12 months. Now they say by the end of Parliament, which we all know that by the end of Parliament then, they will just make up some other story by the end of then, and you need to keep us in that little bit longer to fulfill the promise, and then they'll just say whoever else comes in will not fulfill the promise, etc. They will say that they will do that by August 2029, but quite frankly, that is such a long time away. Anything can happen in that time. Now, it also highlights here, I'll link this article below, the number of hotels reached a peak of 400 under the Tories in autumn 2023, housing around 56,000 asylum seekers at a cost of 3 billion with a B pounds to the taxpayer per year. It had fallen to 213 by the time of the election in July, but then risen to 220 by October, housing some 35,000. So this is a serious problem. Now, this is not to say that all migration is bad and that we shouldn't be helping certain people, etc. I say that in every video because I think that's fair. That some people do deserve the assistance. Some people do need the assistance. We should provide that assistance to some. But this is a serious drain on the economy. At the cost of £3 billion a year, that is a significant drain on the economy, and it is going to have a knock-on effect across the board. Finally, I'll probably dive into this in a different video for a bit more detail, but we are potentially looking at the biggest cull and redundancy in jobs that we've seen in a very long time. With the upcoming changes to employer national insurance, the change in the thresholds, and the likely cost of doing business rates, everything else. We have schools, we have businesses, retail consortiums, leisure and hospitality consortiums, all saying that they are going to have to look at cutting costs. And one of those is going to be cutting staff, because one of the biggest costs that they have is their staff. So we are going to be looking at possibly one of the biggest job calls in a very long time. Let me know what you think about Reeves, the hotels, the employment. Let me know in the comments. Have you had your job hinted in any way by your employer that it's going to disappear or your wages are going to be affected? Because ultimately, they can just change your wages. And if you decide to quit and bring a claim of unfair dismissal, that's the only route you can go down. There's nothing to stop the employer from changing your wages or from sacking you. Your recourse then is another matter, but it's down to you to take that route. So let me know what you think. Let me know what's happened to you, and I'm happy to discuss some of those. In the meantime, please do support the channel. Please do like and subscribe. That means a lot to me. It is free to do. I am independent, and I am on a bit of a mission now to expose and to continue to expose all of this stuff and help to bring it to you, hopefully in very simple terms, and sometimes I hope in some small part entertaining with all the madness that's going on. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.